Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. Please click subscribe, like and smash the like button. When I hear that kind of shit, I wanna hit the smash on the screen. If I'm gonna hear another person asking me to subscribe, like, and smash and upvote or leave a comment, stop wasting my life moments with your bullshit. Automatically I'm closing you. Automatically I'm shutting you off. Sitting here in the tin can, in the underground. Think I have time for your bullshit? I don't. I also don't have time for clicking the news, whatever news outlet that is. And then the whole reporting is what the other news channel is saying and how stupid that is. So basically, if you have CNN, they're reporting, hey, look what Fox News just said. And Fox News is reporting, hey, look what CNN just said. And then there is the kind of like another thing now where they show a clip for some podcast of Charlemagne the God. First of all, if you like voluntarily called yourself the God, whatever your name the God is, then I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Period. Not interested in the God. In a person who is self-titled the God, okay? I'm not interested. Regardless if I'm religious or not, and I find it offensive or not. I mean, like, bro, chill down a bit. Take it down a notch. You know what I'm saying? You digging me? Calling yourself the God, or a girl calling herself the diva, the queen. Fuck off. Get away out. That's what I like about back in the day. You had to flip a channel. Now you just close the window and boom. Now that kind of a situation becomes a bit troubling if you have a neighbor that is annoying you to the same extent. You can't just close the channel, flip the channel, but you can build the wall. Oh my God, what can I tell you? Wealth, War, and Wisdom, Barton Biggs. Great read for those who read, great audiobook for those who listen. I think it's a great time to read this book right now. There's a lot to learn, a lot to listen to, and basically, if you're Jewish, you should definitely check it out because the bottom line is that you just might need to implement whatever is suggested and discussed in that book. If I'm like right now an American Jew in the U.S., I'm definitely starting to think about my exit strategy. If I'm a practicing Jew in Europe, living in a community and have to participate in everyday life, meaning I have to go to work in an office with people, I have to run a business and all that kind of stuff, that I'm like ingrained in the day-to-day life and not just bugging out in the mountains like I do, then I would be already out. I know it's just a bit more difficult where you have a family to support or whatever. You're already there. But if I'm a Jew in Europe that is part of society, I'm just looking for an exit plan. And it's getting so stuffy here in the can. In the tin can, in the tuna can. Yeah, I'm definitely starting to think about an exit strategy, or already implemented it if I'm that kind of situation. And I'm not sure if like if I'm in Israel, I'm definitely getting a weapon. I'm not sure if I'm not staying there. Maybe it's better over there. I don't know. But if I'm there and I've decided that's my spot, and I feel so, I'm just definitely getting a weapon. And I'm definitely living in a mountainous area, and I'm definitely making sure my place is positioned away from crowded people, crowded areas, and in a place where strategically I can see what's going on, and I can escape. I think there is a problem, and the problem is that for some reason that, and I know there are reasons for that. Historically, Jews are being prosecuted. I know they're like anything else in the world. They're like two sides to one coin, right? They're like two sides to that story. So the way I see it, one side is that, and I don't mean to disrespect anyone, but if you're a Christian and your religion is based on basically like your Lord and Savior is just, it's basically a Jewish person, and yes, that the Jews they basically snitched on him, and you know the story, and that's why many Christians don't like the Jews. But at the same time, you can't ignore the fact that he was Jewish. And like the fact that you have to submit to a Jewish person, I think it's kind of like, I think at the back of many people's heads, it's an uncomfortable situation. And I think that messes up a lot of believers, maybe knowingly or unknowingly. Because at the end of the day, you believe in the Old Testament. And I know some editions call them the Hebrews, and they don't call them the Jews. But when you read the Hebrews in the Bible, they mean the Jews. And no matter how you twist it, like your whole faith is based on Judaism, at least the Bible part of Judaism. As not so many people know, and I have discussed already that in the past, Judaism has another part, which is the Talmud and Gemara, and that was written. These are books that were written later on. Sorry that I'm familiar with the dates. In Jerusalem, in Babylon, and blah blah blah. And in my opinion, they created a different religion based on the Judaism of the Bible, the same way that Christianity created a religion based on the Judaism in the Bible. This is my opinion, and many people are going to say that I'm wrong, but I don't care, because many people don't listen to me anyway. So I'm just organizing my thoughts, trying to activate my brain and articulate something instead of just sitting here and watching, I don't know, whatever, scrolling my phone, which I don't do anyway, but I know many of other people do. So anyway, the bottom line is, let's say if I had a religion and this whole religion would be based on somebody else's religion, I would also be kind of like, I'll have to find a way out of this. And I don't know, it's just a thought. I might be wrong. And at the same time that there are many people who hate Jews, and right now they're both from the left and from the right. I don't know, people like Kanye West, whatever his name is right now, and all those people. I mean, at the same time, I met very people who love Jews and who love the Bible and the stories of the Bible, and appreciate what the Jews contributed, or at least whomever wrote those stories contributed to the human race. But so that's from that point of view of Christians. I feel like if you're a Christian, with no disrespect to you, I mean, you basically believe in part of your religion is Judaism. Of the Old Testament is partly Judaism, and your Lord and Savior is Jewish. No matter how you're going to twist it, even you admit it. So it's a kind of a now. So I don't know. I mean, people just don't like people who are not like them, and blah blah blah. So that's a cultural thing. And also in Islam, I mean, I admit that I never read the Bible, the what you call it, the Quran. But I know that the Quran is also based on the Bible, and I'm talking about the Old Testament and some of the New Testament. And if I'm not mistaken, the name Moses appears more times in the Quran than the name Muhammad. And again, if you come with a new religion and you're based off an old religion, you might just want to trash the old religion because you want to establish a new religion. But you use ideas from the old religion, then you. So there is a conflict over here, regardless of the elements of Islam that are basically saying you need to kill anyone who is not Muslim, either convert them or kill them, but and conquer the land and make the world Muslim. But this is a different story that Europe is now going to wake up into soon, but this is not discussion right now, which I find very amusing, by the way. So there is that side of the story. And there's another side of the story that I did not hear. Like, if you read history and you assume that something is factual in history, okay, maybe a lot of it is made up. I don't know. No one knows because no one was there with a video camera or in person. It's just what we know, major events from history. But the bottom line is that over and over again, Jews were targeted, whether it's under Islamic law and people, and whether under Christian. And you might want to ask yourself why. And there are two sides to every coin. So one side is, I just spoke about, is those religions were based on that religion, and there's something about it that you want to remove the other religion and only make your religion. And there is some kind of, I don't know, envy or something psychological here. It doesn't really fit in, and then it goes out. But like if I'm the Jews, and I'm not talking about individual, I'm talking about in general, together as a one nation, which I know is a very generalized idea, an abstract idea. But I would, and I don't hear that many from individual Jewish people or in Jewish media outlets. Like I hear, yeah, racism, they hate Jews, but I don't hear the following, which is, quote, let's sit and think together why we are being hated. And let's try to change it. Maybe we are, as Jews, as the nation of Jews, as the nation of Israel, which I know again is like separate things, but for the matter of the discussion, close the door. Maybe we are not doing the right thing, and maybe it's time to look inside and ask questions. Why is it happening? Now, as someone who experienced racism and anti-Semitism, I can tell you for sure there are many people who just don't like Jews. No matter what you're going to do, they're not going to like you. So those people, I believe, are just it's just the way it is. And I've met many people, including Jewish people, they don't like black people. And no matter what black people are going to do, no matter if they're going to stop wearing their shirts, I'm talking about black African Americans, no matter what the African American community as a group or individuals are going to do, they're still not going to like them, no matter what. And it's the same with Jews and Jews hatred. There are some people, hey, Jews, period, you're not, it's a lost, you lost me at hello. It's not, whatever you're going to do, they're not going to like you. They're going to hate you because that's just the way it is. And I've met also some African American black people who don't like white people. And no matter what you're going to do, they don't like you because you're white. So this exists in every group, okay? But there's still a group of people, I believe, based on my personal life experience, I'm not talking about based on a study that has been done in Stanford University, just by observation, I'm like 50 years old almost. I lived in about 4 different countries, different cities, 8 or 9 different cities, different neighborhoods, big cities, international cities. So I'm talking out of that experience. I'm not talking about, I've just finished my degree in the Université de la Sorbonne and whatever. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about an observation of a simple person. And I believe there is a group of people who are just, maybe they tried at some point to like not love, just be cool with Jews, but then they saw some Jews and they were like, eh. So that's the kind of group I'm talking about. And I believe that, let's say, take the Hasidic Jews, which are maybe the most, when you say Jew, that's what you think about. Like, that's the image that pops in your head, is like that Hasidic Jew with the hat and the coat and the whole thing, and the hair in this funny way, like the sideburns. And I'm also talking about Israelis in general. I think Israelis can do better. And I think those two groups right now, I just want to concentrate about. I want to concentrate on those groups. I think if you are hated, you at least, like, there are two people who I hate. It's like people say, okay, they hate me anyway. I don't care. I'm just going to do whatever I want. I'm just going to be whatever I'm being, and I'm going to just dress the way I am, and I'm not going to be a crowd pleaser. On the contrary, I'm just going to do sometimes just to in spite, just to upset them. But at the same time, you need to understand that you represent a group that is already being targeted. So maybe you should present yourself in a more respectful way. Maybe instead of looking like you came out of a 12th century, 13th century Poland, you want to change the way you look, because this is the year 2025, and you living among modern people. I'm not saying get a gold chain and put a cross on it and buy some Nike. No, I'm just saying maybe remove the hat and get a normal haircut and shave a bit, organize your beard, and just put some slacks on with normal shoes. You don't have to walk around like that in the summer. You're not, what are you doing? It's not normal. It's okay, 13th century Poland, Eastern Europe, Russia, whatever, Germany, because there was no electric heating, there was no heat in public spaces, and it made sense. Okay, I get it, but now temperature kind of risen, the winters are not so cold. You can't live in Miami and hang out like that. It doesn't make sense. You're not smelling good with that. Also, maybe kind of check yourself. Be respectful. Put a nice suit on. Put a nice tie. If it's summer, put a nice shirt. You don't have to expose your whole body. Get a nice haircut. Use deodorant. Because you're not only representing yourself, you're living amongst the nations. You're not living in isolation, and you're just creating some kind of bad blood between you and the others. You bring it on yourself, and I'm saying just try to be a bit more diplomatic. And the same thing goes for Israelis. I met a lot of Israelis in the U.S. and a lot of them are like, they're on the program, but many Israelis who lives in Israel a lot of times, you can't play in the international field of diplomacy and political business, if you want to call it, if you're not up to I see how the Israeli politicians dress up. They all have this black suit and I don't know, whatever top. They all look like, why can't you be sharp? Why can't you just dress sharp? Why can't you just behave sharp and be on the world stage and show that it's not like, okay, this is not, nobody has time for, and nobody got time for that, but yeah, that's basic. This is where you need to start. Like, you're representing a nation that's already being hated, so you got to make sure you're cool like that. And you can't just go and say whatever you want and then, you got to play the game and play it right. And I think Israel did a horrible job representing themselves, representing the country since October 7th. A horrible job. Bad job. Like, politically disastrous. I'm not talking about internal, which is also a disaster. Like, okay, you did some good things, like nobody can say, like the whole Hezbollah beepers, then boom, Syria, boom, Iran, boom. Okay, very nice, good for you, you did, but you can't be a one-trick pony like that. Your international affairs disaster. I'm giving you F minus if that's even possible. And it's like when I see the media from there and when I talk to people from there, it's like it's not even registered to them. They're not even aware. They need to have some kind of I don't know. They need to, like, why other countries can do it and you cannot do it? Why can't you create like this whole system of missiles that's shooting other missiles and then sell it for billions of dollars to other countries, and you can't manage yourself, your international affairs? Like, even with the thing now with Greta Thunberg and all those people are like, let them go to Gaza. What do you care? Let them go and bomb the shit out of them. I don't know. Maybe I am not okay. Maybe I have a problem and I don't see things correctly. But I gotta tell you, if you want to do business and you can't show up like that. You gotta be sharp. If you want people to I'm not talking about like you. If you want people not to hate you or raise eyebrows or feel kind of like, what the hell, bro, what the hell is going on with you? You can't show up dressed like that in August. I'm not even talking about January, okay, where I can say, okay. But other than 2-3 months of the year, you can't dress up and hang out like that looking like you're, it's not serious. What the hell are you doing? And that's what I'm saying, like you became a cult. Judaism originally, if you open the Old Testament, do you think Jews hanged out like that back in Jerusalem in whatever year before Christ? Do you really think they hanged out like that with that? They did not. I haven't been there. No, but I did not. I'm telling you, it's not even mentioned anywhere that you should be like that. It's all an invention of a new religion that happened while people were, it's just became some kind of cult. It's not even the same religion. And with all due respect, I'm not disrespecting nobody. I'm just saying there are two sides to every coin. And you can't just blame everybody. They hate me, antisemitism. You also got to look at yourself. What am I doing wrong? How can I improve the situation? Maybe I'm smelling bad. And that's why people don't like me, because I don't use a deodorant and I walk around and people they can't even stand next to me. Maybe I go to like a international meeting, political meeting, and I just don't look sharp enough to honor the occasion and the status. And I'm not deeming enough respect from my peers on the international stage. Maybe my culture of behavior. This is like you're not operating in your own. You can't be stuck in your own environment. You're living in a world. You're living within different societies. You gotta also look at the mirror and say, how can I be better? Not how can I be weak and bend over and let people be a pushover and just no, be a man, be who you are, but just do it in a way that's gonna trigger respect and awe from your surroundings. Like for me, when I see the Houthis in Yemen, and I see their videos or photos of them like basically in the desert with sandals and with this kind of like dress thing, and then they put a dirty jacket on, and they're standing and screaming blah 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 blah. What? I'm not even. You lost me at hello. I'm done. Over there, I'm done. I'm not interested. I don't even want to hear what you have to say when you stand up like that. Maybe other people do. I don't know. But if that's how you represent yourself, how do you want people to listen to you? Like, I don't want to talk to someone. I don't want to hear what you have to say. Go with your freaking sandals and your whatever dress, your white thing blanket you put on, and then you put a jacket like the top part of a suit. What the hell are you? So it's the same way. Like, okay, you can say the Saudi Arabia, they come up with a white thing and they have, okay, like, I don't like that either, but it looks somewhat organized, somewhat neat. I don't know, I'm not in favor of it. But they don't look like, okay, so Just get your act together. You're representing a nation. You're representing a religion that is already being hated by everybody. So at least be presentable. At least ask yourself, what can I do? Not for people to love me more, but just to be more cool like that. Just to have your game tight. That's all I gotta say.